Hello, and welcome to the Hypno Travelers on the Magical Psyche Highway podcast. That's right. Your host and tour guide is Scott Prevett, a healer, hypnotist, and a magician. And your bus driver is Jason Gobelli, also a hypnotist, an entrepreneur, and a spiritual guide. Disclaimer, neither Jason, Scott, or any of our guests here today are licensed professional psychologists or psychiatrists. So please don't make any changes to any medication or treatments that you are currently on based on the conversation that you hear here today. Just hop on the bus and enjoy the ride. Trip with us on the Inner Revelation bus. That's right.
German, knock it off.
Hi, I'm Jason. Welcome back to the Hypno Travelers on the Magical Psyche Highway. We are excited today because we are going over the pond, aren't we, Scott?
Heck yeah, we've got a great guest for you guys today.
Oh, we're looking forward to this one. Welcome, Nigel Edwards. Nigel, how are you?
Hello. Right. Really pleased to be here.
Welcome,
Thank you
welcome.
very much for having me.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let's get this party rolling, Nigel. Let's get on the bus and go down your highway.
Hey, let's
Who
do
are
it.
you and what do you do?
Okay, so Nigel Edwards. I use hypnosis and coaching techniques for my brand is UK Hypnosis and Coaching.co.uk, obviously based in the UK. So a whole blend of techniques to help primarily people suffering from anxiety and stress, but as you know, hypnosis is used for all variety of things. So all other types of issues do come up, and I help people with stopping smoking and weight loss and all variety of things.
Nice,
It's
nice. Well, I noticed you had a huge background here in the corporate world before you got into hypnosis. So how's that intermeshed with your work?
That's right. Yes, I was in finance for many years. It's still a passion that I hold, knowing that I can help people with their finance arrangements, accounting wise, particularly. That's it. So all of that corporate career has helped me understand teams, presentations, all the stresses that we face with team leadership, team membership, and running a business. So quite often those kind of questions come up with clients that they want some hypnosis to uncover the blocks that are holding them back, and sometimes delve a little bit further into the business side of things to help them work out what are the limiting factors in their businesses.
So you do it on an individual one-on-one basis, or do you do group work?
Yeah, mostly on the one-to-one basis, but there is some group work as well, presentations to groups, and helping to reform teams and to get them to work together better, from a stressful team to a successful team, that kind of thing.
From a stressful team to a successful team. That sounds like it's an ad campaign going on there, Nigel.
That sounds a really good one.
There's plenty of good catch lines out there. Yeah. Yes, there's many arms to how we can work with individuals or groups and teams like that. It all helps to mix things up so you're not doing the same thing every day.
So also you got this thing that you created, Inner States. What is that all about?
That's right. So we have parts therapy, ego states, inner states. There's all different names for what these parts of us are, the sub-personalities we have. And I was finding that there are some images that people use to help people to understand what their parts are, where they're in conflict or where there's a dissonant part, and where there are some physical images that people use. I've thought about for a long time that we really need some images online to be able to use an app for that kind of therapy. So a client can go through these images and work out which resonates with them that might connect with a certain part they have. Say if they want to be doing a lot of running and have a six pack and do marathon running, they've got to have that image in their mind of that sub personality. So we've got all these different parts of us inside, and the app that I am in the final stages of getting created will allow therapists and individuals on their own journey to actually use this tool online. So it's quite an exciting project for me to, go from a concept in my mind to actually getting an app that you can hold on your phone or on your laptop and work with somebody on. So yes, this is a dream mission come true for myself.
Nice, nice. So you're in the final stages. Do you have a launch date?
It will be the end of March. That's the aim. It's coming soon. There may be a little bit of troubleshooting here and there, but yeah, there'll be availability for different levels, a free access level, so a limited deck of images on there, and then there'll be a couple of levels where people can get access to a full deck of images. There could be 80 odd images in there. So every part of, yeah, a whole variety of people will be covered in this. And yeah, it's evolving and developing both in my mind and in reality at the same time here. So yeah, coming soon.
Nice.
InnerStatesTherapy.com. Yeah,
Well, we'll put that up so our viewers can see that. And
thank
so,
you.
so Nigel, so let's talk about you for a second here and your life and all these things that you got going on. When did you have that moment, that aha moment? You know, the moment like I'm going to be able to help people.
Right. For a long time, before I actually got into the hypnosis side, I was very much interested in the mind and how it worked. And it really helped me from early beginnings of being a very introverted, very shy person. Didn't want to ever stand out in front of a crowd and do anything, let alone do podcasts with you guys. So, so that very shy, retiring person inside needed to come out. A variety of parts of my journey led me to understand the mind more. So one of my things was karate. I started that as a kid, and very good instructors encouraged me to stand out in front of the class and do some of the warm-ups. And then as I took more grades, I was actually teaching people. That gave me a lot more confidence. And in terms of mental development, when I was studying accountancy in the beginning, I needed to learn how to learn stuff so much more quickly because there's so much to learn in accountancy. So I started studying lots of different people who had, cracked this thing with the mind hacking, how to learn quicker, how to retain more, and that led me on the journey as well. So eventually, after many different aspects of that, I came across hypnosis and thought, this is brilliant. This is a fast track to get to the limiting beliefs and uh, letting, finding out how to uncover traumas and get through those, all of those sorts of areas. So hypnosis really gelled for me as the way forward to help myself and to help others. Obviously, it's grown from there.
Nice. Nice. So you got all kinds of different directions that you've went through here. So you were a karate guy. Does that mean you were a badass back in the day?
I still practice now. I love teaching it, and I love to also go to classes as well. Be taught. I've got an absolute brilliant chief instructor, and lots of great people that I train with. So it's yeah, it's like a little family. All of these guys from clubs I've been at in the past and current. It's a great environment to be in for personal growth and development. And yeah, it's fantastic.
Have you got your black belt?
Yes, I got fourth dan, almost have been about 15, 20 years ago now. So I've I've probably got another grade in there some at some point in the future to knuckle down and get used to. But so much going on at the moment, that's something I'll address in time.
So then you are a badass. Nice, Nigel. Nice. Okay, so let me talk a little bit more about some things. So you've obviously got all this going on and stuff like that. What about your mentors?
Mentors, yes, I've studied with Mike Mandel over the years, been to Toronto twice now, and I see that community very much as a really good solid community. And Mike Mendel, Chris Thompson, Timothy September, and all of the others there. It's a really good place for going to get some other advice as well. I've got some other close friends in the in the community who I regularly will exchange ideas, and we help each other out where appropriate. I don't think it's perhaps necessary to have one specific mentor who you're that close to. Some people decide to, but I think to have a variety of people to bounce off of is a great way to keep your own mental health in order. We all have our struggles there. There's one little tip though. A lot of people do get a bit burnt out and a bit overwhelmed by all the traumatic stories that we get to hear. Clients like to try and unload all their full story. But my advice really there is to prevent them from going full into the story, because when you're visualizing it yourself, you're kind of buying into all of that. There could be transference. So I try and steer them towards, give me a few ideas of how that feels for you, not necessarily the full picture and image and movie in the background of what happened to them. That way you're getting to know what it feels like, what the hurt is like. And then you can use that and the words back to them of how would you like to feel instead. So I think that for me has been something very helpful as a self-mentoring thing.
So listen, you have those mentors that you have for the hypnosis and everything, but what about growing up? Who are some of the mentors that have shaped you growing up, made you who you are?
Definitely in the karate area there, great instructors there and senior grades to me. They've always been very, very good people to, bounce ideas off and, and talk to. So, yeah, good friends along the way. And as before, I don't really have a one mentor that I go for things, but a variety of people for different aspects of life, really.
Nice. So let me ask you another question now that we're here. I mean, obviously you're in the corporate world, you're dealing with corporate types and things like this. What's your biggest success? Something that you're the most proud of?
Biggest success. There's been lots of great client stories of how they've, got through a limiting belief and they're now dealing with better customers. They don't have the complaints. They don't have all the chipping away at their profit margins and all of that. And financially, that's great where people are succeeding that way, providing better for their families. But I find that the most successful ones, they might come across as, business people, but you're affecting them in a positive way. So it's affecting their whole family in a positive way. People going on flights that they've never been able to jump on a plane before. The whole family has seen them on holiday for the first time in their life as part of the family. Those are the success stories I think mean a lot to me.
Nice. Well, what about you? You've been in the corporate world, you've been in karate, you've done hypnosis, you've done all these things. What's your accomplishment that you're the most proud of? Yours for you. We're going down your highway.
Oh, good question. Oh, putting me on the spot there. The the fact of getting a business running with a sustainable amount of clients to see and getting word of mouth referrals, that is one of my most, proudest moments when I get people calling me up and they say, I've been referred to you by, you know, this person or that person. I think, oh, that's great. I've not just touched one person, but they feel good enough to recommend me to somebody else. I really love that.
Wonderful.
Great
Wonderful.
one.
So, Scott, I've been asking all the questions. You want to throw one out here?
Sure. So,
Thanks, Scott.
I'd like to focus in a little bit on your executive stress. It says that you like to deal with the executive stress. Could you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So within the corporate environment, particularly, we are faced with an ever-changing environment. Nothing ever stands still, and over the years, the speed of change gets faster and faster, doesn't it? And people get overwhelmed with the amount of change. They're holding all of these different projects open at the same time. So helping people to understand how they can break things down and not keep all of these loops open at the same time. That's an area. And the effect is that they work better with their team members, with their subordinates at work. They're also not taking their problems home and taking it out on their family. So you're improving their work environment and their home environment at the same time. Uh, and the results for them in growing their business, doing better, it's all a multi-level win-win situation, isn't it?
That
Nice.
sounds good.
Nice. Okay, so I noticed on your social media that you're talking a lot about vaping, man. What's that all about?
About what, sorry?
Vaping.
Oh, vaping. Yes, yeah. Well, obviously, I love helping people to give up smoking cigarettes, but vaping is this thing, and I can't I could never believe how many youngsters are taking up vaping. It was supposed to be the don't smoke cigarettes, do vaping instead. And yes, we can agree to a certain extent that that's probably less harmful, less bad. But there are a lot of the hidden dangers about vaping that, unknown, unsubstantiatable uh, elements and chemistry going into their body from every vape that they do. But it's the youngsters, kids 14, 13 years old, they're attracted by the flavors and the colors of these vapes. And you think that is an age where we don't want them to be starting vaping and then maybe going on to smoking later on. So it's a great win to help youngsters stop vaping. But everybody, I think, you know, we've got to help as many people as we can. And vaping or smoking cigarettes is a great thing to help people with.
So you're working with youngsters too now.
Oh yes, yes. There's often an adult in a family who I may help, and then they may think, well, the child's maybe not performing so well at school. Maybe they've lost some confidence. Exams, particularly, are very high pressure times, and they need to have some tools on how to get through their exams and do their best with that. I've done some mentoring in schools before on a voluntary basis where kids that aren't performing to their potential level, you have a few sessions with them, and then you can see the delight of how well they're performing. And it's a big win there that instead of going down further downhill, getting into bad company and all of the other things that can happen, we're helping them to reach their full potential. It's amazing working with kids. Yeah.
Yes, wonderful. Now, studies have shown that in relationships and family relationships, kids go through a period where there's a lot of confrontation and resistance. So, do
Yes.
you work in that essence? I mean, it can be a delicate field to handle where you're dealing with both at the same time in order to repair damaged family wounds.
Mm, yes, yeah. Left untouched, the stresses that they have make for an unpleasant environment at home. So when you can get them to start turning around their behavior and they understand, one of the things parents particularly are often telling kids what they should be doing. You should be tidying your room, you should be doing your homework. But instead of the shooting over people, it's getting them to understand why it's a benefit to them, what is the advantage of doing your homework and that kind of thing. And when they believe that they're doing it for their own best interest, it's now their idea that it's well worth doing that thing. So you're taking away the resistance and the defiance that kids will often experience when they're being told what to do.
So, do you prefer to do this on an individual level with each as individuals or on a group level where you bring them both in together?
Yeah, I do on an individual level. I guess you can always do a family group together, but so far my experience has been individual level, and there's a little bit of feedback with parents as well, depending on the age of the kids in particular. But getting to each family member individually is a great way of steering the whole lot. And there's many clients out there where I've started with one, I've gone through the whole family, so it's great to do that.
So, are the kids often right? Are the parents controlling?
Yes, yeah, I think without realizing it, and I say to them, you haven't broken your child. It's okay. You've not done anything wrong, but there's room for improvement here where we can gain a better relationship. Families, instead of breaking up, they're able to work better together. That's an amazing thing.
So, is there a
Getting that
correlation
communication.
between the families working together and the corporate team working together?
It's very similar, isn't it? Yes, we've got within an individual, you've got your internal family system, your parts, as in the parts therapy. You've got family units at home and you've got the hierarchy, but you've also got the similar thing in the corporate. So you've got the leaders, you've got sometimes people play the victim or the one that comes to help out, and then you've got the aggressor in there. So you've got all of these different parts that people are playing, and their own sub personalities come out in different situations with different people. When we recognize our behavior with ourselves and with others, there's one of the answers there.
So do you often find a mischievous teenager in the corporate world?
Oh yes, yes, yeah. All different characters and personality types come through. Yes, yeah. It's amazing how when you are looking for this stuff, you can see it, and people don't often recognize it in themselves, do they?
So how do you handle that situation when you do come across it?
It's usually by some kind of very reflective questions that you can get somebody to start to identify where they can do better. Rather than saying you didn't do very well in that discussion there, you say what could have gone better, and it's there offering their own self-criticism that they're again not in a defensive mode. They're looking for how they can step out of that negative state that they found themselves in.
So it sounds a little bit like you're steering the ship with your questions there, aren't you, Nigel?
Yes, yes. We all know there's questions you can ask that are going to tease out of them their own admission and look for their limits and their problems.
Nice, nice. Scott, you got anything else you want to throw out there?
So, Nigel, with all this, with your app going on and your business is going well, where do you see yourself in 10 years? What do you hope you've accomplished?
Wow. Yes, I'd like to see the app being widely used and popular. That would be great. It will probably go through some further developments as I get feedback from people. So I'd like to see that as a thing that therapists and individuals alike are using. I'd love to continue doing one-to-one sessions with clients. That's something I don't think I'll ever stop doing. And yeah, I see success continuing forwards, fine-tuning a few areas. It's success all the way, hopefully.
Success. Speaking of success, Nigel,
Nice.
how do our viewers get a hold of a successful guy like you?
Okay, to get hold of me, there is the website, www.ukhypnosisandcoaching.co.uk. There are links in there for my strategy call, where I offer a free strategy call to discuss things. Also on all forms of social media, and the links to those are on my website as well. And obviously, we've got the new one, innerstatestherapy.com, which is coming soon.
And I will post those up there for people to find.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
Yes.
brilliant.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Scott, do you have any other questions?
I'm good. You know,
Nigel, is there anything else you want to share?
Nothing else comes to mind apart from one thing that I was going to mention on the side of parts therapy. I heard some discussion recently about little trances that people are running, and that people go into a little daydreams, a driving trance, all that sort of thing. So all these parts, they are little trances that we will go in and out of. For instance, an anger trance, usually and often followed by a regret trance. So when people say, can I be hypnotized? Yeah, we're all going in and out of trance states all the time, and parts are all of us, like the team and all the players at the same time, but they're all little trances going on. That's just something that been thinking about recently, and how that applies in so many aspects of this. But, yeah, thank you very much for having me on your wonderful podcast, both of you. It's been a
Absolutely.
real
Well, I got a
real
couple
joy.
more questions
thank you
for you.
very much.
So I noticed you said you were working with the families and the corporate and all that. We know you've done stuff with the corporate, but what about your family life? Are you married? Do you have kids?
No children, no. Married for coming up for 25 years this year. And yeah, we work together very well. I'm very much supported in what I'm doing here. Wonderful wife looks after my uh, making sure that I'm eating if I've got a particularly busy schedule. And yes, it's great to have. You really need to have good support when you're doing this kind of thing to help you when your mood needs picking up a little bit, or to make sure you're being looked after. As we're looking after lots of people all the time, we have to make sure we look after each other and ourselves.
25 years is a long time. That's almost the state record here in California. Anyway, anyway, I thought I'd ask you there now that you shared that and you share you with her. So she's very supportive. Is she also a hypnotist?
No, no, she could be. Very, very wise lady.
So are you under her trance or is she under yours?
Oh, yes. Good question. Bit of each, I think.
Okay, Nigel, let's close it out with this. Let's give us your words of wisdom. What words of wisdom do you have for our audience?
Wow. Words of wisdom. Yeah, look after yourself. There's always time and effort to look after yourself, not having to please other people all the time. Learn your boundaries, and other people are always going to be testing those boundaries. And make sure that those boundaries are there because it preserves your energy to be yourself, and then you're going to be your best self with other people, rather than allowing other people to trample on your boundaries and then you're not your best self. Get out there every day being the best you can possibly be.
Wonderful, wonderful. Nigel, it's been a pleasure traveling down your highway. We've loved traveling down your magical psyche highway. Scott, you have anything you want to say?
Nigel, thank you for taking time out of your day and spending it with us on this podcast. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Scott, and thank you very much, Jason. It's been a real pleasure, a real privilege to be invited on here. Thank you.
Thank you. The pleasure's been all ours. And for our viewers out there, thank you for coming too. We're glad you're here. If you like us, give us a thumbs up. If you think we're assholes, we don't care. Just give us a thumbs down. We ask that you share. We ask that you follow us. We hope that you subscribe or send it to your friends. But most importantly, we hope to see you next week. Thanks for coming.
Wow, what a trip. Thanks for taking that journey with us today. Please like us, share us, and enlighten us with your views of the topics we drove into today. We appreciate you and love reading your comments. Thanks again, and we hope to see you back on the bus next week. That's right.